It's actually very easy to get your ex-boyfriend to want you back after a breakup. You don't have to beg, and you don't have to plead. The little-known trick all comes down to male psychology. The trick is to push his emotional hot buttons, triggers that are specific to only men. He'll literally come crawling back like a little puppy dog, begging for another chance. If you had that kind of power over your man, how sweet would that feel? This presentation will reveal to you secrets most women will never know about men. What exactly goes on inside a man's mind? How to push his emotional buttons so he comes crawling back to you. And specifically how to make him commit to you after you get him back. Now, this free presentation won't be up for long, so make sure you watch it all the way through. I'll start with a simple story that may sound familiar to you. I call it Beth's breakup. Beth hardly slept since her breakup 3 weeks ago. That empty feeling of nothing beside her kept Beth from falling asleep at night. And when she woke up in the morning, the sudden realization that he was gone came flooding over her. Every morning the same thing. She really felt this guy was the one. It was torture. In desperation, she finally came to me. I could tell she'd been crying but was covering it up, so with a grin on my face, I looked my friend straight in the eye and said, "Relax. I know exactly how you can get him back." You see, Beth came to me because of my unique expertise when it came to breakups. Me being a relationship coach for the better part of 7 years, I knew exactly what buttons she could press that would drive her boyfriend crazy. Triggers specific to men that would make her ex-boyfriend come back to her, on his knees, begging for her to take him back. Beth relaxed a bit after hearing my reassuring words and told me she could sense something was wrong for the past few weeks leading up to the breakup, but she didn't do anything about it. She could literally feel him slipping away from her. Little by little, he drifted further and further away, giving her less and less attention. She had no idea what to do. He stopped calling her as much. He stopped looking at her in the same way. He started openly flirting with other women. He no longer gave Beth the attention he did when they first started dating. This all went on for about 2 months, driving poor Beth crazy wondering why. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, he drops those 4 little words that made Beth's heart do somersaults. "We need to talk." When they went out for coffee, Beth was pretty nervous. She could sense what was coming. She knew they were having problems, but she never guessed it would come to this. And as he made small talk, Beth's heart continued to race. She tried her best to hold herself together, but it was no use. He kept saying things like, "I just need time apart. I need space. It's not you, it's me. Things just aren't the same anymore. We can still be friends." He even went on to blame Beth for the problems in the relationship, as if it was somehow all her fault. And after that, the rest is history. You already know how it ends because it literally just happened to you. And just like my friend Beth, you're going to need my help. So continue watching for my clever little solution. We'll get to that in just a sec. What if I told you you could easily take the pain of rejection that you're feeling right now and transfer it onto your ex-boyfriend? How quickly do you think he would come crawling back to you if he was the one feeling the kind of pain you are right now? Here's a simple truth. The main reason you want your ex-boyfriend back so badly is because he rejected you. It's human nature to want what you can't have, especially if you had that something and it was suddenly taken away from you. The solution is to completely reverse the rejection you're feeling right now. The solution I gave Beth and thousands before her were a few psychological tricks to push her ex's emotional hot buttons. Specific things she could say and do to make him feel like he was the one being rejected. Aha! All of a sudden, Beth's boyfriend began calling her to hang out. He actually started to behave the exact way he did at the very beginning of their relationship. You remember how things were at the beginning of your relationship, right? Back when he was chasing you? The good news is that men all behave in a very similar and predictable manner. And being a woman, I'm sure you probably already know that. By taking advantage of very specific male psychological hot buttons, you can gain an almost unfair advantage and cause your ex-boyfriend to want and desire you like never before. It's actually not even that hard if you know what specific emotional buttons to push. This is why trying to reason, use logic, argue, and saying I love you simply don't work, as I'm sure you've already figured out for yourself by now. In fact, it will only further push him away and trigger his push her away response. You see, the brain is divided into two sections, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Right now, you're too focused on speaking to his left brain, the part responsible for logic and reason, when you should be speaking to his right brain, the part responsible for love and feeling. Attraction and love are not logical. Just as you don't choose what type of man you're attracted to, he doesn't choose what type of woman he'll end up committing to. Push too many of the wrong buttons while in a relationship and he'll start getting scared and push you away. Push the right buttons and he'll lust for you, chase after you, and commit to you. This actually goes all the way back to our hunter-gatherer, caveman, and cavewoman days. Men are literally genetically wired to respond to certain triggers or emotional hot buttons, as I like to call them. Okay, now I'm going to show you 3 keys to bypass his left thinking brain and cut directly to his right feeling brain. Key number 1 is reversing rejection. Right now, you're the one feeling rejected. But if you could make him feel the way you're feeling right now, he'll start pursuing you again. Just like he did when you first started dating. This is how you start fresh and recreate that excitement you both felt at the beginning. Key number 2 is understanding relationship patterns. Fail to understand the patterns you find yourself in, and you're destined to repeat it over and over again. Only once you short-circuit the negative relationship pattern you both find yourself in can a healthy, loving, and committed relationship begin to form. Key number 3 is making him commit. Remember, getting him back is not even half the battle. It's the easy part. If you can't get him to put that ring on your finger, what use is getting him back? You need to make a man feel a certain way before he'll begin to open up and let himself commit to one woman. Knowing exactly how to take him through these feelings is absolutely crucial. Way back in 2004, while I was studying psychology, I stumbled across an old scientific study. What I read shocked me, and it made a lot of sense. I don't want to get too technical, so I'll sum it up nice and easy for you. A bunch of people were hooked up to this thing called a functional magnetic resonance imaging scanner, or fMRI for short. Basically, an fMRI is a fancy machine that looks at what's going on inside your brain. The participants in this study were shown pictures of their ex and told to count backwards. Then they were shown pictures of a stranger and again told to count backwards. What they found was the areas of the brain responsible for the pain of romantic rejection were also responsible for reward, motivation, physical pain, craving, and addiction. Close your eyes for a second and picture your ex-boyfriend as vividly as you can. The same part of your brain responsible for cocaine addiction and cigarette cravings is lighting up like crazy right now. So what does this have to do with getting your ex back? Plenty. First of all, that study set me on a journey to understand the powerful psychology behind breakups and relationships. It became sort of a hobby and passion of mine. I spent hundreds of hours researching the dynamics between men and women. After that, I spent even more time doing personal one-on-one coaching sessions. All the while, I was taking notes and developing a step-by-step system that would shut off the addiction you're feeling right now and then reveal an easy-to-follow path back to your boyfriend's heart. The system I created addresses a vast number of situations and tells you exactly what to say and do in order to get him crawling back to you. It is designed in such a way that he'll come begging for you to take him back and not the other way around. I actually used to do private phone consultations where I would charge upwards of $175 per hour to teach this information. However, there were many limitations on using the phone to teach my students. There was simply too much to teach in such a short period of time. My students wouldn't get the full benefit from the powerful knowledge I was giving them. It was at that moment, back in 2007, I decided to make my unique insight available over the internet, through this website. This way, more women would be able to benefit from what I had to offer. I spent a year and 4 months laying out a solid, practical blueprint so you would no longer have to guess at what to do and say. Here are just a few of the things you'll discover. The number one reason why everything you've tried has failed to get your ex-boyfriend back. The most overlooked concept every woman needs to know about relationships and how it's directly responsible for your breakup. Why the no contact rule isn't for everyone and how it can actually backfire on you. The one theory that definitively explains why men only want what they can't have and how you can use it to get your ex-boyfriend back. Exactly how to get him addicted to you so he'll show you the affection he once did when you first started dating, and so much more. So at this point, you might be asking yourself, who is this guy and why should I trust him? Well, my friends used to say there was no relationship I couldn't fix. I was the relationship doctor. I guess I always just had an understanding of how relationships worked on a deeper level than everyone else. In truth, male-female relationships, marriage, and divorce have always been subjects that have excited me, subjects I've driven myself to understand. I've spent over a decade studying the art of relationships and breakups. I've coached thousands of men and women all over the world in over 60 countries. I've written the internet's best-selling books on male-female dynamics, relationships, breakups, and more. I've sold over 250,000 online courses on breakups and counting. I've been actively studying psychology for over 9 years now. My unique approach to relationships has won me acclaim from people all over the world. All of this combines to make me perfectly qualified to teach you, step by step, how to get your ex-boyfriend back. And not only do I teach you how to get your ex-boyfriend back with the Get Him Back Forever system, I also teach you how to make him head over heels in love with you again. The easy part is actually getting him back. The more challenging part is making him commit and love you like he once did. All of which I teach you how to easily accomplish. When you get your boyfriend back, don't you want to know he will always love you, no matter what? Don't you want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that he'll be committed to you and only you? I reveal all of these dirty little secrets in the Get Him Back Forever system. Nothing like this has ever been written about to this extent before, ever. Anna H. from California writes, I was searching the internet for a way of possibly getting back with my ex-boyfriend. I ended up stumbling across your website and said, what the heck, and decided to buy it. I was skeptical and figured it was just a bunch of BS and I'd ask for a refund. I started the blank, and when he called me a few days later, I was a bit shocked. I pushed his emotional hot buttons and watched him squirm. I told him I wanted to take things slow and he agreed. I even used some of the training techniques you wrote about. It's good to see things are returning back to normal again. Tamara C. from Canada writes, this is my story, Matt, and I agree to let you post it to your site as long as you don't use my full name. Thanks. Okay, so I immediately initiated blank and left it like that for 2 weeks. During that 2-week period, I followed your system, using the methods and techniques you talked about, and eventually he did initiate contact with me. He was pretty flirty right off the bat, and so I knew I could have him back if I wanted. I played with him for a few weeks and made him work to get me back. Thanks for the very interesting book. I look forward to using the training techniques you talked about. Loved it. Cynthia B. recently wrote to me and said, my success story goes something like this. I was searching on Google for a way to get my boyfriend back. I know it sounds a bit pathetic. But anyway, I came across your site and decided to get the course. What the heck did I have to lose, really? The methods and techniques you talk about work very well, especially the information on training your man to become more of how you want him to be. For me, it wasn't really that hard to get him back. I was just worried things would go back to the way they were. I wanted to feel special again, something I didn't feel in a long time. It really felt good to have that spark of attraction back once again. It's exciting. Thanks for the great read, and I'll be recommending your site to my friends. Okay, so this is exactly what you'll be getting when you order the Get Him Back Forever system. You'll get the Get Him Back Forever manual with audio version. So you'll get the manual and audio version, which are jam-packed with the latest techniques to getting your ex-boyfriend back. And remember, The Getting Back Forever manual is tailored specifically for women only, and it's been available since 2007 and is currently in its 5th edition, so you can be sure all the latest tips and tricks can be found inside. Bonus number 1 is the Make Him Commit lessons, because getting him back isn't even half the battle. In most cases, it's actually the easy part. My Make Him Commit email series puts you in his mind and will take you from your new first date all the way to getting that ring put on your finger. Bonus number 2 are the X-Files, case studies. I took the time to document my students' most frequently asked questions and sticking points, and I answered them all. Now I'm making this invaluable resource available so you can see exactly what's been working out in the real world. So that's over 5 years of case studies. Think of it as a kind of shortcut. Bonus number 3 is the Pyramid of Love. My unique Pyramid of Love report gives you a blueprint for establishing a wholesome, stable relationship. You know, the kind that used to exist back in Grandma and Grandpa's day. Those kind of loving relationships are still possible today, and this special report gives you the missing ingredient society seems to have forgotten. Bonus number 4, The Secret to Love That Lasts. Building on my Pyramid of Love, I reveal a shockingly simple way to get your man envisioning a long, happy, committed future with you. You want that ring? This will show you exactly how to get it. Bonus number 5 is the Long Distance Relationship Manual. Because long distance relationships seem to be such a common problem these days, I decided to develop this guide made specifically for long distance couples. Use these methods to reignite the flame, even if he's living in another country. Bonus number 6 is an exclusive members-only forum membership. You'll gain exclusive access to the X-Back Club, a community of women who share their personal tips, techniques, and experiences. You'll be able to share your own story and get direct feedback from the community. Combined, that's a $297 value. But I want to make this a no-brainer, so I'm going to slash the price. You won't pay $200. You won't pay $100. You won't even pay $70. I'm giving this to you for $47 because I want as many women as possible to benefit from my unique insight into the male mind. And just to put this into perspective, $47 is cheaper than a pair of shoes. It's cheaper than a manicure, and it's definitely cheaper than a haircut. Add highlights and you know what that'll cost. And when he takes you on that first exciting date, it'll definitely be cheaper than the bill he'll be paying for. I'll even take away all your risk. I back my Get Him Back Forever system with a no risk, no questions asked, 100% money back guarantee. Your satisfaction is important to me, and I guarantee you won't be disappointed with this system. If for any reason at all you aren't completely satisfied with my course, just shoot me an email within 8 weeks and I'll refund 100% of your purchase price. No need for explanations or excuses. Just let me know and I'll refund the full purchase price on the spot. When it comes to breakups, time is your biggest enemy. You need to act fast. It's been proven that the longer you wait and the more time that passes, the harder it is to get an ex back. He'll eventually find another woman and fall in love. It's only a matter of time. This is why the sooner you take action after a breakup, the greater your chances of success will be. I want you to get back what's rightfully yours. His heart doesn't belong to some other woman. It belongs to you. You have the opportunity to jump through the window and prevent it from closing. I'm giving you a step-by-step system that uses advanced male psychology to take advantage of your ex-boyfriend's predictable behavior. And I'll not only show you how to get him back, but how to make him commit to you as well. So go ahead and click that big yellow Add to Cart button below, and I'll see you on the other side. Imagine for a minute having your boyfriend back in your arms, where he belongs. Feel his strong arms embracing you. Have the security in knowing he loves you deeply. Feel his sweet kiss on your lips one more time. Let him hold you in his arms and don't let him let you go. Soon that'll be a reality. What's the first thing you'll do when you get back together with your boyfriend? I want you to make a mental list right this second of all the fun things you'll soon be doing. Will you take a trip to the beach? Go shopping? gaze into each other's eyes all night, or maybe just sit at home watching a movie while cuddling on the couch. It can and will be a reality sooner than you think. I want you to really picture it in your mind, because now you know that getting your boyfriend back is more than a mere possibility. It's indeed very probable. Now you know there are powerful techniques, methods, and strategies for getting him back. It's time for you to get excited, so click the big yellow Add to Cart button right below, and remember that you have 8 full weeks to request a prompt refund if, for whatever reason, you don't like the system. The very minute you download my step-by-step system, you'll be able to start taking action immediately. The Get Him Back Forever system is jam-packed with psychological tricks and techniques you can start using the moment you read about them. I lay it all out for you in a step-by-step, easy-to-follow blueprint that any woman can follow. I get emails all the time from my students telling me how shocked they were at how simple and effective the information contained in the Get Him Back Forever system was. They literally can't believe how practical and immediately useful it is. Not only that, but it gets right to the point and avoids any and all fluff. Personally, I hate 300-page books that can be summed up in 70 pages or less. I get right to the point. No fluff, no BS. I write only meaty, practical, step-by-step information that can be put into action the minute you read about it. I'm offering you an 8-week money-back guarantee, so there's absolutely no risk in clicking the Add to Cart button below. There are a lot of so-called experts out there dishing out free one-size-fits-all information on how to get back with an ex. Their advice is not based on male psychology whatsoever. It's mostly all generic information aimed at both men and women. Men are genetically wired differently than women, which is why this generic information is complete garbage. My advice is specifically for women only. Being a man myself, I can give you a unique peek at how we guys think. You won't find anything generically aimed at both men and women in my material. So make things easy on yourself and take my proven roadmap to getting your man back. I'm just going to be honest with you. Men always look for a rebound after a breakup. It boosts their self-confidence and it makes them feel more like a man. It's silly, I know. But the thing is, men are also much more likely to fall in love and develop a rock-solid emotional bond with some of the women they sleep with. Scientifically speaking, a man reserves his emotional affection for his mate, while a woman reserves most of her emotional affection for her children, or future children. The real key is to act now, before he allows an emotional bond to form with another woman, before he falls in love again. It's hard picturing your boyfriend madly in love with another woman, and you know it's only a matter of time before that actually happens. He'll open his heart and give himself to somebody else eventually. It'll probably happen sooner rather than later, too. And the longer you wait, the more your window of opportunity closes. You need to act fast by pushing all the right buttons before it's too late. You need to behave in a way your ex-boyfriend will respond to. Don't risk him falling in love with another woman. You only have a limited window of opportunity, so please click that big Add to Cart button right below, and I'll be seeing you on the other side in a few short minutes. Still there? Here are a few frequent questions I get asked by customers. Question: my situation is unique. Will this work for me? I understand your situation is unique and probably quite complicated. In fact, every breakup is a bit different. No two are the same. The important part is that all breakups can be categorized into different types. It's these big factors that are important, not the minor details. So no matter how unique you may think your breakup is, it's probably nothing I haven't seen hundreds of times before. Question: how fast can I expect results? Well, typically I see most of my students getting results within 10 to 15 days. They almost always have their boyfriends back within a month or less. Like I said before, getting your ex-boyfriend back is the easy part. It's getting him to commit to you for the long term that's the hard part. This is why I go into great detail about how exactly to keep your boyfriend contributing to the relationship. If commitment is what you want from him, you'll learn exactly how to get it. Question: what if I was the one to break up with him? Well, if that's the case, no problem. The same psychological techniques still apply. In fact, I specifically address this scenario in the book, and the answer is surprisingly simpler than you may think. Question: what if I was in a long-distance relationship? Well, no problem. I've included an entire bonus guide for those of you in long-distance relationships. Question: what if my ex-boyfriend is already with another woman? Well, in that case, you can still get him back rather easily. It'll require a little extra time, but with my advanced psychological tactics, the other woman doesn't stand a chance. He'll eventually come crawling back to you. If he doesn't, I'll give you 100% of your money back, no questions asked. I give you specific directions on what to do and say around his new girlfriend. In fact, there's a specific way you absolutely must act around her. Now, click that big yellow Add to Cart button just below, and I'll see you in a few minutes on the other side. You're only one click away from taking your first step to getting your boyfriend back and turning it into the committed relationship you wanted all along. See you soon.